I got one question to start with. Who's ready to fire Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and put President Trump in the White House? Man, we got to change things. I got one more question. Who's ready to retire Bob Casey and send Chuck Schumer packing? This guy's not done anything, right? So I'm new to this political stuff, but I've been hearing it my whole life that this is the most important election of our lifetimes. I've been hearing it forever, right? This one's it. This one's it, my friends. We are in trouble as a country. We're in decline spiritually, economically. Our adversaries around the world testing us. This election, if we want the America we love to be there for our kids, this election is the most important election of our lifetimes. That's why I'm running. That's why you're here. That's why President Trump's running. We got to take our country back. And the choice at the top of the ticket could not be more clear. It's a choice between strength. That guy, I was standing not far from him in Butler, that said, fight, fight, fight. And it's the choice between that strength and the weakness of Biden and Harris that have made the rest of the world think we're weak. They're testing us. They think we're weak because under their leadership, and I'll throw in Bob Casey, who's voted 98.6% of the time with them, we have been weak. It's also a choice between common sense. The common sense policies of President Trump, it's common sense. You can't spend $5 trillion and drive up our prices, inflation that's killing working families. It's common sense. You got to secure the border and stop this fentanyl from killing 4,000 Pennsylvanians last year. It's common sense. You got to have law and order in our cities. You got to fund the police and make sure that we protect our families and our businesses. It's common sense that we got to unlock our natural gas. We have the 4th largest natural gas reserves in the world. You don't have to ban fracking to ban fracking. You just have red tape and regulations. It's common sense we got to be energy dominant, which is what President Trump will do on day one. And it's common sense, and nobody like a soldier thinks this way, but as a soldier, I think this way. It's common sense that you got to be strong, and only through strength do you have peace, where we have to have the most lethal military in the world. That's the Trump agenda. And it's against a radical, liberal San Francisco agenda that, in her own words, you don't have to believe me, in her own words, wants to ban fracking, transition energy workers, mandatory buybacks of your guns, legalization for illegal immigrants, federal benefits, right? Hey, that may work in San Francisco. That doesn't work here in Pennsylvania. And my race for the United States Senate is every bit as important, because we have to have a Senate and a House that can help President Trump get that agenda through our Congress. And here we have a choice between change and the status quo. I'm a 7th-generation Pennsylvanian. I was born in Washington County. I grew up in Bloomsburg. I wrestled, I played football, I baled hay, I trimmed Christmas trees, I was a busboy, I was a paper boy, and I went to the 82nd Airborne Division and did a combat tour in Iraq. And then I came back to Pittsburgh and helped create a company and build a company that created hundreds of jobs. I've lived the American dream. And my opponent is a career politician. He was born with a political spoon in his mouth. Time to go, right? 30 years in elected office. When he first got elected, the Macarena was the #1 song. You remember the Macarena? It's been a long time. Long time. He's the kind of guy that when the bullets start flying, he ducks. He has voted 98% of the time with this crazy liberal agenda. He's voted for sanctuary cities. He's voted for this reckless spending. He's voted for males being able to compete in women's sports. I got 6 daughters. I don't want that. Now, my mom was born in Punxsutawney. I like to call him Punxsutawney Bob, because he only pops his head up every 6 years for a few months, makes a lot of noise, and then goes back down in his hole. But I want to tell you the thing that really makes me the maddest. Somebody came up to me the other day and they said, "Are you running for the Bob Casey seat?" And I said, "That's not the Bob Casey seat. That's not an entitlement. He doesn't get to have that seat because his name's Casey. He's got to earn that seat every single day. He's got to earn it every election. He's got to earn the honor of representing the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania." And we're almost there, my friends. We're 2 days away from getting our country back on track. It's going to happen right here in the Keystone State. This is where we're going to make President Trump president again. This is where we're going to win the Senate. And this is where we're going to take America back, right here in Pennsylvania. But we can't take a single thing for granted, and that's why I want to ask you for these next 2.5 days to do everything you can to make sure that we win this election and save our country. And so, I was a wrestler in college, and I wasn't the best wrestler, but I was pretty good. But I always knew if I could get into the third period within a point or two, I'd win. We're in the third period. And the reason I'd win is because the third period in wrestling is not about wrestling. It's about mental toughness. It's about heart. It's about staying on offense and fighting every second until the buzzer rolls. That's what we need to do right here, right now. So it all comes down to you. It all comes down to the Keystone State. I know we're going to do it. God bless you. God bless the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let's make Pennsylvania great again. Thank you.